The baby formula slipped from his hands. Not because he was careless, because his fingers were numb. The black single dad stood in the grocery store aisle, staring at the dented can on the floor. The label read infant. The price sticker felt like it was screaming at him. He bent down slowly and picked it up. He checked his wallet again. Nothing had changed. Only enough money for diapers. Not enough for food. He closed his eyes for a second. Just 1 second. Long enough to breathe. Long enough to stop his chest from tightening. Then he turned around and walked toward the customer service desk. Every step felt heavy. Behind the counter, the cashier looked up. She smiled politely, then noticed his face. The smile faded. "Can I help you?" she asked. "Yes," he said quietly. "I need to return this." Her eyes flicked to the baby formula, then back to him. "Do you have the receipt?" He nodded and placed it on the counter with care, like it was fragile. The cashier scanned it. The machine beeped. The sound felt loud in the empty store. "You're returning baby formula?" she asked gently. "Yes," he said again. She hesitated. "Was something wrong with it?" He shook his head. "No," he said. "Nothing wrong." He didn't explain further. Upstairs, in a glass office overlooking the store floor, a woman sat alone. She was the company's CFO. Her laptop was open. Charts filled the screen. Numbers, projections, profits. Everything was going up. She felt nothing. She leaned back in her chair, rubbed her eyes, and glanced at the security monitors without thinking. That's when she saw him. A man at the customer service desk, holding baby formula. Something about the image made her pause. She leaned forward, eyes narrowing slightly. The cashier handed the man a few bills. Not much, barely enough to matter. He didn't count it. He just stared at it. Then he folded the money carefully and slipped it into his pocket. Before walking away, he hesitated. He looked back at the formula, just for a moment. Then he turned and walked toward the exit. The CFO's chest tightened. She didn't know why. She told herself to look away. She didn't. Downstairs, the automatic doors slid open, letting cold air rush in as the man stepped outside. He stopped just beyond the entrance. Didn't move. Didn't walk. He reached into his jacket and pulled out his phone. The screen lit up. No missed calls. No messages. He stared at the screen anyway, like something might appear if he waited long enough. Then he sighed and leaned his forehead against the glass door. Inside the store, the CFO stood up. She didn't plan it. She didn't think it through. She just stood. She closed her laptop and grabbed her coat. As she left her office, she told herself it was curiosity. But it wasn't. It was something deeper. Outside, the man straightened up and wiped his face with his sleeve. He didn't cry. He didn't let himself. He turned to walk away. "Excuse me," the voice stopped him. He turned slowly. A woman stood behind him. Well-dressed, calm, expensive coat, tired eyes. "Yes?" he said politely. "I saw you inside," she said. "At the counter." He nodded. "Okay," she hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "You returned baby formula." "Yes," he said again. His shoulders stiffened slightly. "May I ask why?" He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Because diapers come first." The words were simple. They hit hard. The CFO felt her throat tighten. "How old?" she asked quietly. "My daughter," he said. 6 months. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded photo. A baby with wide eyes and a crooked smile. "She laughs at everything," he said softly. "Even when she's hungry." The CFO looked at the photo longer than she meant to. She thought of her apartment, silent, empty, perfect. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't mean to intrude." "It's fine," he replied. "I should get home." He turned to leave. "Wait," she said quickly. He stopped. "I don't usually do this," she said honestly. "But would you allow me to help?" His body stiffened. "I'm not asking for charity," he said. "I know," she replied. "And I'm not offering pity." She paused, then said, I just don't think any parent should have to make that choice. Silence. Cars passed in the distance. The cold air pressed in. I'll pay it back, he said finally. She shook her head. No. He looked at her carefully now, searching her face for judgment. He didn't find it. I don't even know your name, he said. You don't need to, she replied. He hesitated. Pride battled exhaustion. Exhaustion won. Okay, he said quietly. They walked back inside together. The cashier looked up, confused. The CFO met her eyes and said calmly, "Ring it up again. And add more." The man turned toward her, shocked. "You don't have to." "I want to," she said. The cashier scanned the formula, then another. And another. Diapers, wipes, a small blanket. The total climbed. The CFO didn't flinch. When it was done, she paid. The man stared at the receipt like it wasn't real. "I don't know what to say," he whispered. "Say nothing," she replied. "Just go home," he nodded. As he walked away with the bag, the CFO stood there, watching. For the first time in years, her chest felt warm. She didn't know yet that this moment, this quiet act would unravel her life in ways she never expected. But it had already begun. The man did not look back as he left the store. He walked carefully, holding the bags like they were made of glass. The cold air hit his face, but he didn't feel it. His mind was already somewhere else, home, his daughter. For the first time that night, he did not feel afraid of opening the door. Inside the store, the CFO stood still. The cashier quietly finished the transaction and slid the receipt into the drawer. She did not say anything. She did not need to. The CFO nodded once and turned away. She walked slowly back upstairs to her office. The glass walls reflected her image as she passed neat hair, clean clothes, confident posture. The kind of woman people listened to. Yet her chest felt tight. She closed her office door behind her and leaned against it. For a long moment, she just stood there. She did not understand why her hands were shaking. She walked to the window and looked down at the empty parking lot. The man was gone. Only tire marks remained on the wet ground. She sat at her desk and opened her laptop again. The numbers were still there. Perfect, predictable, useless. She stared at the screen, but her mind kept replaying the same image. A man returning baby formula. Not because he wanted to, because he had to. She closed the laptop. Her office felt too quiet. She thought back to her own life. The penthouse apartment. The silence when she came home. The refrigerator always full, but never opened. The phone that buzzed all day, but never at night. She had worked for everything she had. She had earned her place. But somewhere along the way, she had stopped feeling anything at all. That night, she drove home alone. At a red light, she saw a man pushing a stroller across the street. He struggled to lift it over the curb. No one helped him. The light turned green. She waited until he crossed. When she reached her apartment, she kicked off her shoes and sat on the couch without turning on the lights. She stared at the dark ceiling. Why him? Why had that moment shaken her so deeply? She thought of the way he held the formula. Like it mattered more than his own pride. Like it was part of him. She thought of the way he had said, "Diapers come first. No anger. No complaint. Just responsibility." She did not sleep much that night. Across town, the man unlocked his apartment door quietly. The place was small. Clean, but worn. A soft sound came from the bedroom. He smiled before he even saw her. His daughter lay in her crib, awake, eyes wide, tiny fists moving in the air. "Hey," he whispered. "I'm here." He washed his hands, moved carefully, and picked her up. She grabbed his shirt and laughed. A real laugh. The kind that filled the room. He held her close and felt his throat tighten. "I got it," he whispered. "We're okay tonight." As he fed her, he thought about the woman from the store. Her calm voice, her eyes. The way she did not look down on him. He had accepted help before, but it always came with conditions, questions, looks. This time felt different. It scared him. The next morning, the CFO returned to work early. Too early. She walked through the store before opening hours. Employees nodded as she passed. She stopped near the baby aisle. The shelf was stocked again. She stared at the formula cans. All identical, all expensive. She imagined 100 parents standing there, counting money in their heads. She felt something stir inside her. That afternoon, she asked for a report, not on profits, on customer assistance returns. Her assistant looked confused but nodded. Later, the report arrived. She scanned the pages. One entry stood out, late night. Baby formula, returned. She stared at the date and time. She remembered his face. That evening, she found herself checking the security footage again. She watched the moment slowly. The hesitation. The look back, the walk away. She paused the video. She leaned closer to the screen. And that was when she noticed something she missed before. His shoes, they were soaked through. He had walked in the rain, probably with the stroller, probably carrying his child. She leaned back, heart pounding. She realized something then. Helping him once had not changed the truth. He would face the same choice again. And again, and again. That night, she made a decision. A real one, not about money, not about business. About involvement. She did not know yet how far it would go. She only knew this. She could not unsee him. And she could not go back to being untouched. The man did not expect to see her again. 2 days passed, then 3. Life returned to its usual rhythm. Wake up early, feed his daughter, prepare bottles, fold clothes, count money carefully. The help from the store bought him time. Not comfort, time. He pushed the stroller down the sidewalk, careful of cracks. His daughter slept with her small hand wrapped around his finger. He stopped outside the grocery store. He told himself he was only there to buy bread, nothing else. Inside, the store buzzed with normal sounds, carts rolling, soft music playing. He kept his head down. He did not want attention. Upstairs, the CFO stood near the security desk. She was not in her office. She had been there every morning since that night, waiting. She told herself she was checking operations. But she was watching the door. When she saw him enter with the stroller, her breath caught. There he was. She did not move right away. She watched him push the stroller carefully, pausing often to check on his daughter. He picked up a small loaf of bread. Put it back, picked a cheaper one. Her chest tightened. She walked downstairs. This time she did not call out. She walked beside him quietly until he noticed her. He stopped. "Hello," she said gently. He froze. Then recognition crossed his face. "I didn't expect to see you again," he said. "I wasn't sure you would come back," she replied honestly. He nodded. "I didn't want to. But we needed bread." She glanced at the stroller. "How is she?" "Sleeping," he said. "She's been better." They stood in the aisle, unsure of what to say next. "I've been thinking about you," she said. He stiffened. "I don't want trouble." "I know," she replied quickly. "That's not why I'm here." She hesitated, then said, "I wanted to ask if you would allow me to help again." His shoulders tensed. "I told you," he said quietly. "I'm not looking for handouts." "I'm not offering one," she said. "I'm offering a choice." He looked at her. "What kind of choice?" She took a breath. "I'm starting a small program, quiet, no cameras, no publicity, for parents who fall just short." His eyes narrowed. "Why me?" "Because you didn't ask," she said. "And because you walked away." He looked down at his daughter. The silence stretched. People passed them, unaware. "I don't want to be someone's story," he said. "I don't want pity." She nodded. "Neither do I." He studied her face. "You don't even know me," he said. "I know you returned baby formula," she replied. "That tells me enough." He exhaled slowly. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "Nothing," she said. "No interviews, no promises, no gratitude." He shook his head slightly. "Nothing is never nothing." She smiled sadly. "You're right. She lowered her voice. I want to feel like what I do matters. The honesty surprised both of them. He looked at her again. Not as a CEO, as a person. I don't want my daughter growing up thinking her father couldn't provide, he said. She won't, she replied firmly. She know he protected her dignity. The word hit him hard. Dignity. He swallowed. What does this program look like? He asked. She relaxed slightly. Store credit. Monthly. No names. No tracking beyond basic inventory. No paperwork. Minimal. No photos. None. He hesitated. Pride pressed against fear. Then his daughter stirred, making this small sound. He leaned over the stroller and adjusted her blanket. I'll think about it, he said. That's all I ask, she replied. He turned to leave, then stopped. Why are you doing this? He asked. She did not answer right away. Because I've spent my life building things that only help people like me, she said. And I don't want to end it that way. He nodded once. They parted. Upstairs, the CFO watched him leave again. But this time, she felt fear, not of losing money, of crossing a line she could never uncross. Later that day, she received an email from legal. Questions about unusual activity, returns, overrides. She stared at the screen. This was the cost. That evening, her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I've thought about it. Her heart pounded. Another message came. If this is really about dignity, I'll accept. She closed her eyes. The line had been crossed. And there was no going back. The first credit appeared quietly. No announcement. No email, just a small balance waiting at the register. The man stared at the screen as the cashier scanned his items. Formula. Diapers. Wipes. The total dropped to 0. He exhaled slowly. Everything okay? The cashier asked. Yes, he said. Thank you. He pushed the stroller out of the store with care. Outside, he stopped and rested his hands on the handle. He did not feel relief. He felt fear. Because now there was proof. Proof that help could vanish at any moment. At home, he fed his daughter and sat beside her crib long after she fell asleep. He remembered the day his life broke open. It had been raining then too. His partner had gone to work early, promising to be back before dark. She kissed the baby's forehead and smiled at him. She never came home. A call. A hospital. A silence that never fully lifted. From that day on, everything had been on his shoulders. No backup, no pause. He had worked 2 jobs, nights and weekends, until exhaustion caught up. When childcare costs rose, he quit the second job. That was when the math stopped working. He had sold furniture, then electronics, then his car. Still, it wasn't enough. Returning the formula had been the last thing he wanted to do. Across town, the CFO sat in a meeting she could not focus on. Legal was there. Operations. Compliance. They talked about policies and exceptions. Someone mentioned unusual patterns. Her jaw tightened. She kept her voice steady. We are discussing a pilot support effort, she said. Nothing outside guidelines. The room was quiet. After the meeting, her assistant followed her into the hallway. Is this personal? The assistant asked gently. She stopped walking. Yes, she said. That night, the CFO drove past neighborhoods she usually ignored. Small buildings, playgrounds, dim lights in windows. She parked near a corner store and watched a man rock a stroller with his foot while counting coins. Her chest tightened. She understood now. This was not rare. This was hidden. The next morning, the man received a call. He hesitated before answering. Yes? This is from the store, a voice said. Could you come in today? There's something we need to clarify. His stomach dropped. I didn't do anything wrong, he said quickly. I know, the voice replied. Please. Just come. He bundled his daughter and went. Inside the office upstairs, the CFO waited. She stood when he entered. Thank you for coming, she said. He remained standing. Am I in trouble? No, she said firmly. But there are questions, she explained the concerns, the attention. The risks. He listened quietly. "I'll step away," he said immediately. "I don't want this to cost you your job." The words surprised her. "You'd do that?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "I've lost enough. I won't be the reason someone else does." She looked at him, really looked. This man carried more than survival. He carried responsibility. "I won't let that happen," she said. "But there will be changes," she added. "Limits, structure. I can live with that," he replied. She nodded. Then he spoke again. "I need to tell you something," he said. She waited. "I didn't return the formula because I didn't want help," he said. "I returned it because I promised her mother I'd never beg." The words hit her hard. "She trusted me," he continued. "Even when she was dying." Silence filled the room. "I won't break that promise," he said. "But I will accept support that lets me keep it." The CFO felt tears burn behind her eyes. "You're not breaking it," she said softly. "You're honoring it." They sat in silence for a moment. Two people bound by choices neither of them planned. When he left, she remained in the office long after. She realized then this was no longer about a program. It was about accountability. To him, to his child, to herself. And outside that office, pressure was building. People were watching. And not all of them approved. The email spread faster than she expected. Not publicly, quietly, internal threads, forwarded messages. Short questions with long meanings. Why are returns being overridden? Who approved this? Is this consistent with policy? The CFO read each one carefully. She did not delete them. She answered calmly, professionally, and without apology. Still, the tone inside the building changed. People watched more closely, smiled less. In the store, the man felt it too. Cashiers were still kind, but quieter. A supervisor watched from a distance as his items were scanned. He kept his eyes down. He hated being noticed. One afternoon, as he packed groceries into the stroller, a woman nearby whispered something to her friend. He did not hear the words, but he felt them. He pushed the stroller faster. That night he could not sleep. He sat on the edge of the bed, listening to his daughter breathe. Help had kept her safe. Attention threatened to take that away. The next morning, he sent a message. "I think we should stop." The CFO read it during a board prep meeting. Her phone vibrated once. She glanced down, then again. She excused herself. In the hallway, she stared at the message. She had known this was coming. "Can we talk first?" she typed. There was a pause. Then, yes. They met after closing hours. No offices. No desks. Just two chairs near the back of the store. "I don't want this," he said as soon as they sat down. "Not like this," she nodded. "I understand. I appreciate what you've done," he continued. "But people are watching. My daughter didn't ask for that. They shouldn't be," she said. "And I'm addressing it." He shook his head. "That's the problem. You're fighting for me." She fell quiet. "I don't need someone to fight my battles," he said gently. "I just need space to stand." The words cut deeper than anger would have. "You think I'm making you smaller," she said. "I think the world already does," he replied. "I don't want help to become another reason." She took a slow breath. "This isn't charity," she said. "It's access. And access has a price," he replied. Silence settled between them. Finally she spoke. "They're reviewing the program." His chest tightened. "What does that mean?" "It means I might be asked to end it." "And if you don't?" She looked at him honestly. "Then I may not keep my job." He leaned forward. "You can't do that," he said firmly. "Not for me." She met his eyes. "It's not just for you anymore." He stood. "I won't be the reason your life breaks," he said. "I've lived that." She stood too. "I won't be the person who looked away when it mattered," she replied. They faced each other, both unwilling to move. Finally he spoke again. "If this ends, I need one thing." "Anything," she said. "Promise me this was real," he said. "Not a project." "Not guilt." She did not hesitate. "It was real," she said. It still is. The review happened faster than expected. A formal meeting, quiet questions, carefully chosen words. She explained the intent, the structure, the safeguards. Some listened, others did not. That evening, the man waited at home, checking his phone, no messages. He fed his daughter and held her close. He whispered, "No matter what, we'll be okay." Late that night, the CFO sat alone in her car outside her apartment. Her phone buzzed. A single message from an unknown number. "Your program is suspended pending further review." She closed her eyes. She did not cry. She only felt tired. She typed one message before putting the phone away. "I'm sorry." Across town, the man's phone buzzed. He read the message. Then he looked at his daughter. "I guess it's just us again," he whispered. But neither of them knew yet. This was not the end. It was the moment everything would change. The suspension stayed quiet. No announcement. No apology, just silence. The man felt it immediately. At the store, the credit was gone. The register showed the full amount again. He nodded, paid what he could, and put items back one by one. Formula stayed. The rest went. Outside, he sat on a bench and breathed slowly. He had expected this. What surprised him was not the loss. It was how prepared he felt. Across the city, the CFO walked into her office for what might be the last time. Her assistant stood at the door. "They want a final meeting." She nodded. "I know." The meeting was short. Too calm. They thanked her for her service. Spoke about alignment, reputation, risk. She listened without interrupting. When it was over, she handed in her badge. She did not argue. She did not beg. She walked out quietly. That evening, the man's phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. "Hello?" "It's me," she said. "I wanted you to hear this from me." He held the phone tighter. "I resigned," she said. His chest tightened. "You shouldn't have." "I chose to," she replied. "That matters." Silence stretched. "I'm sorry," he said finally. "I tried to stop it." "You didn't cause this," she said. "You revealed it." He did not know what to say. "Listen," she continued. "There's something else," she explained. After the suspension, she had spoken privately to others. Former colleagues, suppliers, people who trusted her judgment. No store branding, no headlines. Just people who wanted to help without being seen. "It won't be tied to you," she said. "Or me. It's bigger than both of us." He swallowed. "I don't want favors." "It's not a favor," she replied. "It's a bridge." A week later, the man sat in a small office at a community center. No cameras. No forms asking for his story. Just a simple card. Monthly support, childcare assistance, job training access, no names on walls. No speeches. When he left, he felt lighter. Not saved, supported. Months passed. The man found steadier work, better hours. A place closer to home. His daughter grew stronger, louder, curious. One afternoon, he pushed her stroller past the grocery store. He did not go inside. He did not need to. Across town, the former CFO sat in a smaller apartment. She cooked for herself now. She volunteered quietly. She slept better. One evening, there was a knock at her door. She opened it. The man stood there with his daughter in his arms. He looked nervous. "I didn't know if this was okay," he said. She smiled. "I'm glad you came." He handed her a small envelope. Inside was a photo. His daughter laughing. On the back, a few words were written. "You didn't save us. You stood with us." Her eyes filled. "Thank you," she whispered. He nodded. That night. "You changed everything." She shook her head gently. "No," she said. "You did." By walking back in, they stood there for a moment, two lives that crossed briefly, and changed permanently, not because of money, but because someone chose to see another human being and refused to look away.